Well, good morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Steve Blundell, and my wife Susan and I have been coming to this church now for quite a lot of years. I feel I ought to say that, actually, because Susan was out shopping recently in Tonbridge and bumped into somebody else who's been a member here for many years, and she said, "I haven't seen you at church for ages. I'd actually thought you left." And I was a bit concerned about that, really. And I realised that, when you're only 5'3", it's pretty easy to be overlooked. So I made a decision that now when I come to church, I'm actually going to wear this. This is called a high visibility jacket. And I'm really worried about being overlooked and not seen. So that's what I'm going to wear. So some of you, if you're cyclists, you'll know that actually quite frequently the government runs campaigns. If you can stick up the first of the slides, Tony, it'd be great. Called C and B Seed. So it enables you to sort of wear high visibility clothing and make sure you're not run over. And if you're only 5'3", it also makes sure that people notice when you're around, which is really great. And so I thought this morning I'd entitle this sermon C and B Seen. Okay. So what's the real excuse, Steve? How come you haven't been around a great deal? Well, there are two reasons, really. And the first is this. If you can put the next slide up, Tony. This is my grandson, Hamish Robert Stewart Smith, and he's actually quite cute. Actually, he's not quite as cute as Ambrose, but he's quite cute. And Susan and I are really fond of Hamish, and we want to see him a lot. And unfortunately, his selfish parents have decided to live in Manchester, which is a bit annoying. The second reason is a lot of you will know that my work, I have to travel a lot all around the world, which is a great privilege, and I go to all sorts of different places. And last year I spent quite a bit of time in this place. Tony, if you can stick the next one up, it'd be great. So this looks like the height of luxury, doesn't it? And actually it is. This is the Intercontinental Hotel in Lagos, in Nigeria, on the west coast of Africa. And that's where I stay when I go to Lagos. And as you can see, it's got a very nice swimming pool. There's a lot to be said for this place, except it has one snag. Tony, if you can put up the next slide. Right outside the front door, quite literally, right outside the hotel, this is what you see. And the contrast between the opulence and luxury of the Intercontinental Hotel and these poor, dispossessed people who are scratching out a living with absolutely nothing is so striking. And if you're a visitor like me, this is a shock. You can't help but be upset and moved and profoundly disturbed by the contrast between the Intercontinental Hotel and many others like it and this kind of circumstance that people live in. But if you're Nigerian, if you live in Nigeria and you're going to the Intercontinental Hotel for lunch and for business meetings, and you've been doing that all your lives, you don't see this. You don't see these people at all. They have become invisible to you. Because from the day you were born to the day you die, these people are all around. They've become part of the backdrop. You don't see them at all. So I want to read this morning from Mark's Gospel. We're carrying on in Mark chapter 10. And I'm going to read from verse 46. Tony, if you can put the words up, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. I think that's the next slide, actually. No, sorry. Okay, never mind. I'll read it. You'll have to listen well. Then they came to Jericho. As Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man, Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called to the blind man. Cheer up, on your feet, he's calling you. Throwing his cloak aside, he jumped to his feet and he came to Jesus. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked him. The blind man said, Rabbi, I want to see. Go, Jesus said. Your faith has healed you. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. You know, as we've been going through Mark's gospel, one of the things that so impacts you is the sheer pace that Mark sets in his narrative. You're on from one thing, you're going from this, you're going to the next thing, and it's all incredibly fast. And you notice that the way this starts, then they came to Jericho. As the disciples and Jesus, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, hang on a minute, we literally just arrived in Jericho and already we're leaving. It's so fast-paced, it's quickly moving. They're so busy, they've got an agenda. They're going to Jerusalem. Their Outlook calendar says that it's going to be the Passover feast and they've got lots of preparations to make, and Jesus is going to ride into Jerusalem on a donkey and people are going to be shouting Hosanna, and somewhere in the background is a man shouting out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy upon me. But we haven't got time for this. We're so excited that Jesus is going to be made a king and he's going to throw the Romans out of Jerusalem. We're really excited because this is our purpose. This is our agenda. This is why we've been following this man. We're so excited by the possibility. And yet only a few verses before, verse 32, Jesus predicts his death for the third time. Only a few verses before. And in Luke's account of the same passage, Luke says, but the disciples were kept from understanding, from seeing. They got their agenda. They were kept from seeing. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy upon me. What is it that keeps you from seeing? Jesus, Son of David, have mercy upon me. Who is it you're not seeing? Jesus, Son of David, have mercy upon me. What is it that stops you from seeing? Jesus, Son of David, have mercy upon me. What is it that you're not seeing? Rich Hall, computer assistants, may I help you? Well, yes, I'm having trouble with my PC. What sort of trouble? Well, I was just typing along and all of a sudden the words went away. Went away? They disappeared. So what does your screen look like now? Nothing. Nothing? It's blank. It won't accept anything I type. Are you still in WordPerfect or did you get out? How do I tell? Can you see the prompt on the screen? What's a prompt? Never mind. Can you move your cursor around the screen? There isn't any cursor. I told you it won't accept anything I type. Does your monitor have a power indicator? What's a monitor? It's the thing that looks like a TV. Does it have a little light on it that tells you that it's on? I don't know. Well then, look on the back of the monitor and find where the power cord goes into it. Can you see that? Yes, I think so. Great! Well, follow the cord to the plug and tell me if it's plugged into the wall. Yes, it is. When you were behind the monitor, did you notice that there were two cables plugged into the back of it, not just one? No. Well, there are. I need you to look back there again and find the other cable. Okay, here it is. Follow it for me and tell me if it's plugged securely into the back of your computer. I can't reach. Oh, look, well, can you see if it is, even if you have to maybe put your knee on something and lean way over? Oh, it's not because I don't have the right angle, it's because it's dark. Dark? Yeah, the office lights are off and the only light I have is coming through the window. Well, turn the office lights on then. I can't. Why not? Because there's a power failure. A power failure? Oh, right. Long pause. Okay, I think we've got it licked now. Do you still have the boxes and manuals and packing stuff that your computer came in? Well, yes, I think I keep them in the closet. Good. Go and get them. Unplug your system and pack it up just like it was when you got it, and then take it back to the store you bought it from. Really? Is it that bad? Yes, I'm afraid it is. Well, all right then, I suppose. What do I tell them in the store? Tell them you're too stupid to own a computer. Things can be right there in front of us, and we can't see them. What is it, or who is it, that we're not seeing this morning? I mentioned that Mark sets this incredible pace in his gospel, and the other thing is he is so economical with his narrative. He doesn't say things that are not absolutely essential. I don't know whether you noticed that when Bartimaeus is introduced to us, he's not just introduced as a blind bloke. He's introduced as Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus. Do you know, I was a bit puzzled about that. Why does Mark actually just suddenly explain this factor that Bartimaeus means son of Timaeus? Well, I think it's because he is not just a token person. He's not just there as a blind person. You know, when we see Theresa May visiting a factory or a school or a hospital on the TV, and they interview a child at the school or a sick person at the hospital or a worker at the factory, they're kind of token people. It's very easy, isn't it, for us to forget that these are real people that we're seeing on the screen. And when Mark is giving this account, I think he wants us to know that Bartimaeus is a real person. He is the son of Timaeus, like I'm Steve, son of Ian, son of Patricia, like Neil is son of Roger, son of Kath, like Susan is daughter of Morris, daughter of Francis. He's a real person, Bartimaeus. Our service last Sunday, there was a word given. Those of you who are here may remember it. The word was that you're not here by accident, and a sense that somebody was here for the first time and might think that they were somehow here by accident. And I reflected upon that and I thought, you know, none of us is here by accident. You're here because you are a precious son or daughter of God, and you are here because you're part of his plan and purpose. You're not here by accident. And Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, was not in that place by accident. And we're told, I wanted to read something to you before I say that. Jules Gallen, who's going to be leading worship this evening, sent me this email. I saw clearly when praying about the service a video clip I'd seen recently. A small child in water clinging desperately to a rope, kicking his legs and panicking, thinking he was out of his depth. And then his father came along and stood him upright, and he discovered that the water was actually only knee-deep. I feel there'll be people here this Sunday who perhaps feel out of their depth or not good enough, and God is encouraging them to look to him, to see things from his perspective, and to have their eyes open to his possibilities. And Jules sent me that before she knew what I was going to be speaking about this morning. So we have these very, very busy people who are heading to Jerusalem with all the noise and busyness and clamour around, and then suddenly there's this voice, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy upon me. And yet there were many voices, much clamour, much noise and everything else, and yet in all of that noise and in all of those voices, Jesus hears that one. He hears Bartimaeus' voice and he stops. He stops. I have this comical sort of impression of all of these people following Jesus, and he suddenly stops and they're all bumping into the back of him. And he says, bring him to me. Bring him to me. Call him. And we're told that Bartimaeus stands up and he throws off his cloak and he makes his way to Jesus. And I can imagine at that stage, all of these people who've been ignoring Bartimaeus, all of a sudden, they're helping him through the crowd, making way, make way, make way. And Bartimaeus stands in front of Jesus. And Jesus looks at Bartimaeus, this blind man, and he asks him a rather odd question. We have a strange expression, don't we, in the English language? Something is blindingly obvious. Jesus, it's blindingly obvious what this man wants, and yet Jesus says to him, what do you want me to do for you? It's blindingly obvious, isn't it? He's a blind man, Jesus. But Jesus asked the question. He doesn't make the assumption of what Bartimaeus wants. Could you put up the last slide for me, Tony? See, somebody once said to me that making assumptions makes an ass of you and me. Assume. How often when we speak to people after services, do we ask questions like, how are you? Well, fine. How's it going? It's fine. Do you have conversations like that? But Jesus doesn't. Jesus asked the question, what do you want me to do for you? You know, we've got some people here at TBC who are fantastic at asking questions like that. When I was thinking about this, Steve Cole came to mind. Steve's one of those guys that he always asks a really great question. I virtually never have a conversation with Steve Cole where I don't go away and feel I've actually told him how things really are. Do we want to see and be seen this morning? Because joking apart is not about wearing a high-vis jacket, but maybe it is about asking better questions and being willing to be seen this morning by those who are around us. And also just remember, as you're standing in front of Jesus, he asked that question, what is it that you want me to do for you? This morning, Jesus asks you, what is it you want me to do for you?
Thanks, Steve. We're going to have a time of